Hey, hey, hey.
Ooh, hello.
It's the Hoops Talk.
Hooping it up.
We got a big show today.
Big.
I'm so excited.
Bigly.
Beyond.
Oh, no.
Beyond. Don't use.
Don't you say. Slap.
We have a lot of high energy today because we have an amazing Woman Crush Wednesday guest coming on. I'm just like, this is beyond. We shot our shot and we made it. So we're
half court, Liz. Half court.
Right? I mean,
of the logo.
All I'm saying is from the logo. Go, go, go. That's right. I'm so excited. But of course, before we can bring on our guest who is sitting in our virtual waiting room, we're going to do a little house cleaning. Okay, as always, please subscribe or like and review us. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on iHeart Pandora, we're on Overcast, we're on like almost anything you can find us. We're everywhere. We're viral.
Yeah, you can't avoid us.
You can't avoid us. We will be there. We're going to be there.
With that brand new flavor for your ear,
Yeah, we'll be there. Also, if you do subscribe, here's a hot tip. If you do subscribe, you will get alerted for our podcast. You'll get alerted for our YouTube channel. You'll get alerted for our Apple Podcast. You'll get alerted if you download the Good News Radio Sports app. You will get a push notification. So make sure you subscribe. And I mean, if you're not going to review and whatever, which we're dying for you to do, you can at least subscribe and get like the latest episode information. So that's a good tip. Also, make sure you're following on Twitter and Instagram at The Hoops Talking, and also on our TikTok, The Hoops Talk Podcast. Our intern is killing it over there.
Killing it.
He's doing a great job. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everywhere we're at and everything you should do. Right now we're doing a Save Youth Sports initiative on Twitter and Instagram. So check us out there and you can tweet out your sports youth memory and help to gain some funding for youth sports, especially during this time, during the pandemic. They really need help with that. So That's all I have. How are you doing in San Francisco?
Well, it looks like I'm in New York right now.
I know.
No, we're doing good here. I know. Let's go. I see you. Let's you on the train. No, it's good. It's like, I mean, like we've all talked about. What day is it? What month? I mean, June is literally, Kendall was all talking about her lease being up in June. I'm like, girl, you gotta fix that. It's 2 weeks from now.
Can't move.
No moving.
Don't kick her out.
No moving. And Utah, how's Utah?
Same old.
Just same old.
Hanging out. But yeah, I do. I got to make a trip back to California to take care of my lease here in a minute. Or I'm going to be out on the street.
We'll make sure I design that red bubble Hoops Talk.
Oh, yeah.
Flight.
That's right. That was smart. It's me right there.
Yes.
Branding. Can't help it.
Can't help it.
I'm like, how do I leverage a virus?
It's in your blood.
It's in my blood. I'm a hustler, baby. Okay? I'm a hustler, baby. What can I say?
Are we going to just quote a bunch of New York artists?
Why not?
I love it.
Because I know I'm in a New York state of mind right now.
New York.
Woo! Yeah, we're going to bring, that's all hints to our Woman Crush Wednesday.
Yes.
She's amazing. I can't wait to bring her on. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring on our Women Crush Wednesday guest. Hello, Keia Clarke, and welcome to the Hoops Talk.
Woo!
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
We are so excited to have you here. Keia Clarke is our Women Crush Wednesday, and she's the COO of the WNBA New York Liberty. So welcome, 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 and thank you for spending some time on your weekend to come and talk to us on our podcast.
Happy to do it.
Amazing. You know what? We like on our Women Crush Wednesday segment, we really like to highlight women in sports that have, careers and see how they got, what their journey is and how, how they did it to inspire other women and to give other people insights on what it's like to be a woman in sports. From, when maybe you started playing basketball to now being a COO. So I know that you are, and like I always preface it with, I get all my information on the internet. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you are with your 10th season with the New York Liberty and your 3rd season as COO with the Liberty. And you also played college basketball at Kansas College in Buffalo. So I guess that's where we can start with your journey.
We can start there for sure. Everything on the internet about me, what you found anyways, is true. It is.
Okay.
So I'm happy there's no false stories out there about me. I would actually be honest in saying my story really began, as you alluded to, when I started playing basketball. I remember when I was about 8 years old, I started just, typical dribbling around, putting up shots. And my mother asked me if I wanted to go to basketball camp. I'm from Connecticut. She said, there's a Calvin Murphy basketball camp. Do you want to go? And I looked at her like, I play basketball for fun. No way. And then like a year and a half later, I was begging her, can I go to camp? Because the bug bit me. I was completely in love with the game. Started watching college basketball. And, I think really relevant to this conversation, at that point, there was no WNBA. So I wasn't that, 10 or 11-year-old aspiring to play professionally in the United States because it didn't exist. So the story kind of fast forwards pretty quickly then. I was a really decent student, but I did play every sport under the sun. I, through middle school and high school, was always an athlete every single season. So ended up always focusing on basketball, but I played volleyball, I played softball, I ran a season of track. I tried cross country and soccer one or two of those years. So just really was, athletics was really my wheelhouse, if you will. And then fortunately, I had the great opportunity to go to Canisius College. I know it's a weird name of the school.
I butchered it, so apologies.
All good. Not the first time. My high school algebra teacher was like, how's your cousin Kanisha doing? I signed early. I signed an early national letter of intent. So really took a lot of the pressure off. I wanted to play collegiately. I wasn't so sure I was going to get the opportunity. So it was really a blessing when it happened. And from there, I enjoyed those 4 years there. I was in the best shape of my life, but I wasn't the best basketball player. And I started to really observe then, what the operation entailed that went into college athletics, obviously at that time. And for a little bit right after I graduated, I actually pursued being a graduate assistant. So I thought my path was going to go into coaching. I didn't have a huge passion to coach, but I knew I needed to stay near the game.
Right.
And I didn't realize that until I was finishing school.
And WNBA still was not a dream at that time.
Not necessarily, no, but it existed now at this point. So, I would say when I was in high school, the league came about. And there were some moments where I was all into it. I was quoting the slogan, we got next. That was the first marketing campaign. But I had never been to a game. So it was really just from afar and a little bit of, I was watching on television, but, fast forward, I didn't get that GA position and I ended up taking a job at the Basketball Hall of Fame. So my first job right out of school was selling tickets at the sports museum of the sport that I love. Still one of the greatest jobs I've ever had, just to walk into that museum every day. And I'd gone there as a kid, just, with my mom, and now I work there every day. So that was a really surreal experience and really studying the history of the game is what sort of started to pique my interest a little bit, to learn more about the WNBA. Loved the job, didn't love Springfield, Massachusetts. And I decided to pursue a master's degree. So I moved to New York to attend NYU so I could study for a master's in sports business. So it was during that time that the wheels really started to click. While I was in grad school, I worked at Golf Digest full time, but started to learn about the differences in consumer behavior between men and women's sports. Golf Digest also had a title at the time called Golf for Women. And I got the really cool job to work for these like really super bad, like 3 female associate publishers. And I was just in awe of them. That magazine doesn't exist anymore, but I learned so much. And at that moment decided to write my thesis on the WNBA's target marketing. So again, had still never been to a game. I played basketball for I don't know how many years. I'm from Connecticut, where there was now a team, and I moved to New York, where one of the originals had existed. So
totally,
it all came together. And as I was doing my thesis, I ended up meeting someone who had worked at the league, and then parlayed that into a position, and started at the WNBA NBA league office, and learned a ton about teams. But I always wanted to be at a team. In 2011 is when I joined the Liberty, and the story just continues to unfold from there.
And how did the Liberty opportunity, joining that team, come to you throughout like everything that you've been doing thus far?
Yeah, I mean, it happens actually quite often that league people go to teams and team people go to the league. There's just, this little microcosm of people in the field that move around, sometimes crossing over to other sports. But I knew very early on at my time, and it was entry level. I was a coordinator at the WNBA. And I got exposure, though, to all the WNBA teams specifically. So I worked on a little bit of NBA stuff, a little bit of the then D League, now the G League.
Sponsored league.
And the department I was in was just so team marketing and business operations. They were so laser focused on best practices and learning what the teams were doing that I couldn't help but like kind of feel that thirst for like, I want to actually execute. I want to see ideas through till the end. And the woman who had hired me at the NBA ended up overseeing the business of the Liberty. So she hired me again, to put it plainly.
Nice.
So that's how I ended up at the Liberty. I had just we were beginning to start our family. Like I was literally pregnant with our first child 5 months after starting the position with the Liberty. So it was all kind of by design. I didn't want to travel domestically so much, and really, wanted that sort of home life to be different. So it was more a personal decision that led the professional decision.
And did you have a favorite player growing up? I know you said you hadn't gone to games, but I'm assuming you watched on TV. And were you like, I want to be like that player? Who would that be?
100%. Nikki McCray. Nikki
McCray
played for Tennessee. I wore 15, if your research is accurate. I wore 15 from I think 8th grade through college, and Nikki wore 15. She was just a tenacious defender. I modeled my game after her. She could score. She could do a little bit of everything. I'm not as tall as her, but I really did admire her. And then would watch on television, during her time in the ABL, and then ultimately the WNBA. But absolutely my favorite player.
And do you have a favorite moment, let's say before you join the WNBA, and then while you're in the WNBA, when it comes to the play or any moment really?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I would say before I joined the league, this is actually pretty funny. They had jerseys on sale. I never forget. I think I was probably a freshman in high school. My best friend calls me from the mall. They've got these WNBA jerseys here. And I don't know how any of you are, but if they did this after me, but there were these all ages nights at like the local nightclub.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yes.
on like, if there was no school on
yeah.
the Monday, like the Sunday night was for all ages. So
yes.
We would go
I'm old enough to remember.
There you go. There you go. So and she called, she's like, what size do you want? I'm getting us these WNBA jerseys and we're going to wear them to all ages night. My mom, her mom, like, she like cut them up and like, you know, styled them up. So we went there. We thought we were so fresh. But before we left her house, her mom took a ton of pictures. So probably we were out of college then. And I said to her, whatever happened to that night, remember? And she's like, there was no film in the camera.
Oh, no. No. Film.
Obviously, it's a reoccurring story in our friendship. She talks about it all the time. Like, man, wouldn't it be so cool? Like you run a team. What if you had? And she's like, I think you had on a Liberty jersey in the picture, but so we don't. Now it's out there in the public. I said it.
Okay.
We don't have the proof, but it happened.
Yeah,
so
it happened.
That was my before story. And then I would say, you know, really quickly, my favorite moment, and you asked the question already about my favorite player, but Nikki McCray. And when I joined the NBA league office and I met with the then chief of basketball operations, we're just, you know, she's getting to know me and I'm asking questions. I'm the, you know, starry-eyed little, you know, youngster who just got, you know, their dream job. And she said, well, who did you follow? Who was your favorite player? And I said, Nikki McCray, just in passing. And we continued the conversation, never thought about it again. Probably about 2 months later, I'm sitting at my cubicle and the chief of basketball operations calls me. She says, Keia, stop by my office. And I walk in and Nikki McCray standing
Oh
there.
my God. I would have cried and fainted.
Yeah. I'm not a crier, but I was definitely stunned. But I go the opposite. I'm like almost too stoic. So I probably didn't even look excited. I was like, oh, hi. So now I'm thinking like, this is really sweet and thoughtful. She's going to let me meet my favorite player. Yeah. And she says, well, I was just talking to Nikki here, and she had just retired from the WNBA pretty much. She had stopped playing in 06, and I joined the league in 06 at the end. And she said, well, Nikki, she wants some of her pictures. She wants some of the on-court pictures and community stuff from when she played. So take her back to your desk, and you guys sit down and get on Getty and just pull it and put it on a flash drive for her. So it was just like, so now I'm like walking back, and that's when I got like,
one-on-one time.
Yes. So she
at that time, did they know? Did anyone know that was your favorite player? Like, did she know, or did your colleagues know?
I don't know if, and it's Renee Brown, who was the chief of basketball operations at the time. She knew. So she set this entire moment up and just did it like as a matter of fact. And now I'm in my cube, like trying to call my mom and Nikki's like sitting in my cubicle with me. And it was just hands down one of the greatest moments of my life. She was there for like 45 minutes and we just went through, and I dragged and dropped pictures onto a flash drive, and she gave me a hug and said, it was great spending time with you and nice to meet you and thank you so much. And it was just like, and you
didn't end up telling her that she was your favorite?
Oh, I did. Absolutely. Absolutely. I went through the whole thing. Like, I wore number 15, but I was trying to be like super nonchalant, like not
about it.
completely geeked out. But, just a moment I will never forget. And I'm oftentimes reminded of it, at a game, when a kid gets an autograph, or when people stand on the floor and they take a photo on the court. Like, I know what those moments feel like, and I know what it feels like when Teaspoon would walk up to him, or Kia Nurse, and pose with him in the photo. And it's like, I know that feeling firsthand, when you get that moment with someone you've idolized. So,
and I think that's a great, maybe if we can move into a little bit about the New York Liberty organization, I think that's a great segue into it because, given the pandemic and what's happening, what are some insights that you might be able to share about what the New York Liberty organization is doing during this time, with everything that's swirling and season may be on hold and no fans. And if you could give us some insights on that, that would be amazing.
Yeah, like everyone, we've had to switch gears, and I guess it's unfortunate that the moment when we all were sent, home to shelter in place was the exact timing that we were planning to ramp up for the May start of season. So you figure during NCAA basketball, that's our wheelhouse because that's where all the women's basketball fans are, really, really apparent.
Yeah.
So very quickly, like I said, like a lot of brands, we switched gears, and it allowed, I think, sort of, a pause even for staff to just spend time first one-on-one calling our fans and checking in on them was probably, the first thing we did when the pandemic hit. And it wasn't a solicitation for tickets, and it wasn't a conversation about refunds or anything like that. It was, generally and legitimately just, how are you doing? Clearly, we did the same thing with partners. Clearly, we did the same thing with all the staff part-time who hadn't really joined us yet, like dance teams and mascots and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think, and then as the weeks went on, a lot of our attention turned to how could we virtually connect with our fan base. And that became what you guys probably saw in our virtual draft party to coincide with the virtual
I was there.
Draft. Yep. There you go.
I was there. I mean, that's really how, like, you're at the top when you're talking about how things just happen. It's kind of like I joined that party and I was able to, be in touch. Really, I mean, legitimately, I'm not just saying this because you're on it, but the organization, the New York Liberty organization was so cool with what they did and how I, spoke with them, was able to, they sent me a follow-up email about the part. So it was truly what you're saying. I was witnessed it. I was, as a fan, I really felt like that was a level that I hadn't seen from other organizations.
Thank you. That's really great to hear, and it was a first, none of us, I think, envisioned, especially for the first time in franchise history, we had the number one pick. And while you had all the, the pomp and circumstance that usually goes along with that as a live event, or as, a nationally televised event where the people are there, it was different across the board. So, we gave it our all, for sure. And the fans were first in our minds. And then we were able to activate against some of our partnerships at the same time. And I guess, in that same vein, we're launching and looking at other ways to connect virtually. We've got a whole entire, Pride platform to engage with the LGBTQ community, which we've been doing for over a decade, that we were like, well, we can't not do it because things aren't open. So a lot of our attention right now is focused on that. How do we connect with youth basketball players right now? That's sort of the latest one that we're starting to tackle. And we've heard from some organizations like, can you, produce content for our kids because they can't be together? So we're in the process of also rolling a lot of that out. And I would say those are the pieces for fan engagement. And the one I'm most proud of is our Kicking It with Keia Instagram live series.
Oh yeah,
nice.
A nurse.
Keia Nurse is interviewing her teammates, which is different. Typically, there's a sports journalist or some personality or some play-by-play person, but it's just this really, I watch them and I can't wait to watch them because I learn things about our players that I don't know. Super entertaining. So I think that was just another blessing that sort of came out of necessity at this time. And all of those things kind of ladder up to fan engagement. At the same time, there is still the season, and if we can play, provided health and safety concerns are met, we have to be planning for what that looks like as well. Right. So I think the name of the game there is just how can we continue to be fluid? How can we continue to be nimble about our approach, about our engagement, how we create spaces and places for people to still have that sense of community? Because at the end of the day, that's really what's important to us.
Yeah, because you are now playing at the Barclays. And how is that? Like, how is that whole transition? Like, I was super excited for it. So for you guys to do that, how's that been? How is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's a delayed Uber
Yeah.
piece of gratification. But we had already started to see some of the benefits of the move. There's no denying that, New York's team should be playing in the boroughs. So
Yep.
we're really excited to be back in the city. While it's back in the city, it's Brooklyn. So that's new for us.
Yeah.
So I think really it's all about the opportunities and the things we can do in that space. We won't obviously neglect Manhattan and Queens and the Bronx, and Harlem's a really important area of the city for us. But really, really eager to get our hands dirty in Brooklyn and really start to align with a lot of the groups and the nonprofits and really understand what that community could benefit from the Liberty on.
Sure.
How do we reach young girls? How do we reach people in the social justice space? How do we reach people? Because we have these pillars that we're aligned with in this value system that we've been living by. And I think it fits perfectly into Brooklyn. We just can't wait to get after it. And like I said, a lot of that was going to happen in March and April. It'll happen. It will happen. And I hold on to that. It's just going to take a little bit of time, but really good stuff in Brooklyn. A lot of newness around our team, but Barclays being the biggest, I think.
Yeah, I would say like one of the big newness too, it was the virtual draft and how, you guys had the first round pick and Sabrina coming to the team. How are you preparing her, if that's something, because we talked to Marisol Castro, who's the PA for Citi Field in the Mets. And the question we were saying, like, New York sports media is a beast. It is relentless. Love, hate, all in the same sentence. How do you prepare the new draft picks? Someone like, and Sabrina in particular, who's also a giant. Like, she is basically, another Sue Bird, coming into this, Candace Parker. I mean, huge. She could be legendary. How do you prepare the organization for that and the fans, and to kind of help Sabrina navigate through New York?
Sure. So I think our fans are prepared. It was the worst kept secret in all professional sports, that by the time, like, every single person I met, they was like, "Are you going to draft Sabrina?" And I'm like, first of all, that's not even what I do, but I'm not going to tell you about that. But I digress. Interestingly, Sabrina has been in the spotlight for some time now. From all of her collegiate accolades to how she's so stoically represented herself and the future of women's basketball during Kobe Bryant's memorial. I think there's no mistake that, she's years beyond how old she is. She's super mature. Like, she's proven that she can handle things like that. I also think it's interesting that she's studying for a degree in advertising in brand, I think it's brand alignment or something like that. I'm getting it twisted, but she's academically prepared herself. She's studying exactly what it is that she is essentially going to represent. It's brand reputation, advertising and brand reputation. So she's a brand within herself. We will invite her to be a part of the New York Liberty, obviously, and she'll be representative with her teammates for the team. But it's just like, we just have to support her. We have to protect her. We have to make sure she doesn't get burned out. But we also want to reap the benefits of that media attention in this juggernaut. So I just think there's this balance that we're going to have to be really cognizant of as we move forward. But I think she's a student of the game, and she's just as much a student of how she represents herself.
And I know we had Kendall, you had a question about the jersey, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, her jersey sold out within, I believe it was an hour after being drafted, right? What do you think it is about Sabrina that has just made her so popular in among basketball fans and, women's sports fans.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, there's an appreciation for people who break records. So I'll start there. Male or female, she just had such an enormous amount of accolades and just things that hadn't been seen before. But I would also say, and I can't take credit for this, our marketing team posted when she was drafted, she's your favorite player's favorite player. And I think this crossover appeal is really what makes her unique. The men love her. The veterans in our league love her, and they respect her. She has that killer instinct. She has that I'm going to work harder than you, and even though I'm already, I was already at the top of my game collegially, I'm going to work just that hard. I'm coming in as a rookie to the professional league. I know I've got work to do, and she literally is like, "Let me get my lunch pail and let's go."
Right.
Diehard fans appreciate that. No one wants anyone who's kind of resting on their laurels, like I've accomplished it and I'm done. And I think that's what we're gravitated toward. It's that killer instinct for certain. And then, just this what she was able to do at Oregon from, her and her teammates, they grew over the years. That wasn't, necessarily a perennial powerhouse of a, it's not the UConns and Tennessees or Notre Dame and South Carolinas of the world. And, that they made it their prerogative to be there under their coach's tutelage. So I think that's the storyline that people started to glom onto. And I just want it to continue.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I feel like she's pandemic proof. Like she's definitely has that good storyline.
Absolutely.
As we're, wrapping up with you, because I know your time's precious. I wanted to know, I know you mentioned that the WNBA standard for what is next. What do you think the WNBA stands for today, and why do you think people should support it?
Yeah, collectively, I can never ignore the fact that we represent the greatest basketball in the world. That happen to be women. The basketball is off the charts better than it was when the league began, and it just continues to get better. A lot of reasons for that, but one of them, the lowest hanging fruit being that little girls right now, they grow up knowing that there's a destination for them. Sabrina was born in 1997. That was the year of the first
oh my gosh.
the first WNBA season. So she's never known a time where she couldn't aspire to be in this league. And I think that changes the landscape. That changes how, the players themselves feel about the league, but also people who pay attention, or even people like me who have a daughter and a son, those things matter. So I think, like I said, collectively, it's the greatest basketball, and we can't move away from that ever. I think at the same time, it would be erroneous for us to ignore what we represent as women. It's empowering. It's people want to aspire to it. Supporting women right now is in, if that is even a statement. But it's a celebrated thing to look at women for their strength and courage, and from believing women to aligning behind women. I think we're fortunate, all of us, to live in this time and space where all of that is happening. So I think under that, guys, we really represent what's possible. It is possible to showcase women at their highest level. It is possible to treat women with equity. It is possible for us to break down barriers. So I think, overall, that's what I spend a lot of time with my counterparts across the league. We're all moving toward the same goal in that regard. Liberty specific, I think we get a little bit more granular when it comes to how we want to show up in terms of social justice and equality issues. And other franchises do the same thing. But I think that part, when you really tie it back to the statue and the torch in New York and what New York represents, we want to be those things. We are those things. We live those values every single day. So, when I say pride is one of our biggest platforms, that's because we think that the fan base and the community deserves to be celebrated.
Yep.
When we look at social justice issues and things that affect people of color, that's because our players came to us and said, this is what's important to us, and we make that possible. So I think we get a little more granular at the team level, but you know, by and large, it's about the greatest basketball by these incredible women, and I'm proud to represent.
So inspired.
That was such
Yeah.
That was a great
I'm a
answer.
crier.
I know, right?
That's magnificent. You know, that's magnificent. And you know, the more we do call the, you know, podcasts with, you know, people like yourself, it just keeps reminding us to keep going and, you know, do it for something bigger. You know, it's always
so
about something
important.
bigger.
It's so important. And I have to thank you for all the work that you're doing and for bringing people on and providing a platform. You know, I think media and how our league is covered and how our teams are covered is incredibly important. So these opportunities mean the world to us.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You don't know how much that means. I mean, before you came on, we were already freaking out, but now we're definitely going to have a freak out when you leave.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, well, thank you so much for
Thank
spending
you,
some
Keia,
time talking to us. You know, this platform is, our show is open to you for anything. So if you ever want to highlight something or just come and chat about anything, please hit us up. We're available. Thank you to your organization as well. And I'm hoping, cross my fingers, that we can safely and sanely open up
Yep.
then this season somehow, of course. And we'll see. We love it. We love the WNBA. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Have
it.
a great one, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi.
So that's it. We will wrap. Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
That was incredible. I'm completely inspired. I can't even
I'm like goosebumps.
So
I'm like
that last question or last answer.
Seriously, I have tears.
Even if we had extra questions, I would have been like, sorry, we're not.
Yeah,
we're done.
no.
We're done.
Yeah. No, I had tears. I had tears.
It reminded me of our talk, Liz, like why we started this in the first place, right? Like first off, we were like, oh, we're tired of doing the dumb work at Yahoo. But I think the other one, and when you were like, oh, I don't know, Karen, I was just like, there's not enough women in media. There's not enough women of color in media. And like, I know right now our reach isn't monumental, but it could be.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny because I had a conversation with someone who has a very well-known podcast. She took some time to talk to me about it.
Oh yeah. Was that through The Wing?
Yeah. And one of the
awesome,
things she asked me was, you know, why are you doing, you know, are you doing this for monetization? And, you know, I didn't jump on that. I didn't go like, yes, you know, because I had to take a step back and think, yeah, making money, always
nice.
A goal. Always a goal.
Get that bread.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, for real, this is so that we can have these conversations and normalize what it is to be a woman in sports and have other women or other athletes or other people that love sports listen and say like, okay, you know what? This is another way. This is another avenue. So yeah, money is great. I will never turn down the bag. But the riches are beyond.
Yeah.
The riches are beyond when we can have the insights that we have and the people that we have on. And hey, if you're out there listening and you want to be on the Hoop Talk, hit us up.
DM, baby.
Hit us up. Yeah, get in it because we love it. We can talk about anything. We literally can talk about anything.
Yeah. Wash your hands.
Anything. Oh, God. That was amazing. You know, let's take a quick little breaky and then we'll get into sports in the age of the coronavirus. So here we go. All right, ladies, we are back. Okay. I wanted to keep on the WNBA tip.
Yes.
And there's been a couple stories that came out over the weekend that I thought would be just interesting to hit upon. One is that the WNBA players will be receiving their paychecks on time despite the season not starting.
Yes.
Which was, a question mark if people were going to get paid or not. But it's starting June 1st. As a league, they're all going to get paid, and the union's going to work through the details. So that came from the commissioner. So Kathy Gilbert was like, this is going to happen. So that's awesome. I mean, you should get paid. You have a job.
Yeah.
I think getting
You're still
paid.
doing outside.
Yeah. This wasn't your fault. You didn't say, hey, I'm staying home.
You're still playing horse.
Right. Well, it's like Keia Clarke just said, like they're using players for marketing, like Keia Nurse, right? They're still doing stuff with them so that they deserve to get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and we've talked about this a lot, like how much the IG Live is just like every half hour a new IG Live happens. So it's good that I find the ones more interesting, the ones where it is not so
structured
journalist. Like it's not like, like the Jump going and talking to somebody, I like Touch More. We talk about that. We've talked about that before with Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe. Kicking It with Keia.
Yeah, I'm going to check that one out.
That one's great. Oh, I like that one too. Girls Sports TV. She does one. Yeah. So she did a karaoke night too.
Ooh.
So yeah. Where she did it on the IG Live. So I think IG Live, to your point, Kendall, is they're still doing that. They're still working. They're still, it's like, like I expect you two to always be marketing the Hoopstock.
Oh.
That's right. That's why we're going to get those face shields with our logo
lips,
on
with the lips.
That's right.
It's going to be so dope.
It's going to be good. Another thing that happened is the commissioner is trying to focus on at least 5 different scenarios for them to start the season. I mean, they were supposed to start yesterday.
Yeah,
Tip-off was supposed to be yesterday.
All the little tweets about it should have been today.
I mean, they're going to go through the same thing that any sports organization is going through right now.
Yeah.
Are they going to do the testing? Is it going to be in one? Which stadium? How? I mean, I don't know. They can't have fans. We just need a vaccine. Can we just get a vaccine, please?
Yeah, come on.
What is it? Warp Speed? Operation Warp Speed? Oh my God.
Where's Marty McFly? Come on, get in, out, go to the future, come back, make it happen.
We need the WNBA season. Do something.
The DeLorean.
Time travel.
I mean, we're working with your shoes now. Come on.
Right.
Let's do it.
I don't think she specified the scenarios, but I can only imagine that it's very much what Adam Silver is looking into.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll
Orlando or Vegas.
I know. But like both places to me are terrible. So I like why I get it.
Disney World and adult Disney World.
Yeah. I'm just like, ew, that seems so gross to me.
Yeah.
Like for as much deep cleaning as either one of those places do, I don't think it'll ever get clean.
I mean, and the fact that like the mayor of Las Vegas is like, we volunteers tribute to
yeah.
Like, okay,
beta test.
Yeah, we'll
coming
we'll
out
the
here.
Beta test and like Las Vegas residents.
Yeah.
We'll be the petri dish of America.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, same for what is this, DeSantis in Florida. He's like, bring it.
West.
Bring it all to my
I know,
state.
right? Like let's try and control this coronavirus and put our leagues in the 2 states that they're like, have at it.
But not only with Las Vegas, it's like literally like if I don't see how you can do social distancing in Las Vegas.
No.
Ever.
No way.
And then all of the slot machines, I just can't. The buffets.
Oh.
Barf.
Buffets.
Oh
man. But then also in Florida, you have like the highest rate of retirees that live there that are literally the population that is most impacted by this virus.
And they're like, have fun, open everything, go play bingo, go to the bar.
No.
Oh, it's just, I don't know. I try to think about things logically at this time, and it just no. Everything
Nothing makes
defies
sense anymore.
Nothing makes sense. So it'll be interesting to see the scenarios that she's contemplating, but I assume it's
Similar.
yeah, it's going to be similar to what the NBA is talking about, and I would assume they would want to align, right? Because they're kind of the same, and NBA and WNBA are the same, so they would most likely want to align. Kill two birds with one stone, I guess. Another kind of downer is the
Super
Athletic
downer.
the Athletic continues with halt of WNBA freelance writers due to slowdown. What? Like everything slowed down. So why are you
Right.
picking on fucking WNBA?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I'm going to tell you right now that I might drop my subscription because of this.
Well, that's the thing. That's why they went to the subscription model, so they wouldn't be at helm to advertisers. So
Yeah.
why is the money not going to the
Yeah.
writers? What's happening here?
Yeah.
Just
That is
You would almost think that they'd be making more right now because people are bored.
right.
Yeah, and there's
Right?
it's subscription based. I'm not even. You don't think about it. It just you pay
Yeah.
for it.
Right.
I signed up for the subscription because it
They had
opened a WNBA
coverage.
vertical.
Yep.
And if they're halting that, then they're going to halt my dollars going towards it.
Halt
you
my
know?
wallet. You know. Halt,
Yeah.
You know.
And I talked it up to so many people who then ended up getting subscription.
Me.
So
Mhm.
yeah. You. Yeah. No, seriously. I'm very disappointed. I'm sad that they can't think of a better way
Mhm.
to work around. They're a
These
tech
women are
company.
all available to talk. Do some deep dive interviews. Get
Yep.
to know them on a one-on-one basis. Give us those feature stories. The fuck?
Something. It's very disappointing.
Yep.
You know, they're flush with cash. They're a Silicon Valley
VC
media
funded,
I
Series
mean,
B. I know.
Yep.
Yeah, you do know.
I read
So
that shit up.
It just sounds like it's lazy, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, meh, where's it? We don't really want to do the work. We'll just not write
Yeah.
about it.
Like how? What? We still need all these guys talking about
I
Right.
know.
guy
We
stuff. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I work in sports social media. You think we have shit to do all day?
right?
We somehow figure it out.
Yeah.
We figure it out.
Yeah, you're
And we're
making
not
Last Dance content left
And
and
we're
right.
not getting paid in subscriptions.
Yeah.
We're doing this for free.
Yeah.
And we can do it.
Seriously.
Yeah, we get it. There's budget cuts. Like maybe you can't pay for writers to travel, but that's okay. They don't need to.
Yeah.
Do it like
Yeah.
this. There's a phone.
Seriously.
Hi.
And how many writers do you need to cover that Wilson is now the official ball of the NBA?
Oh my God.
not
When I saw
Spalding?
that, I was so fucking livid.
Wow.
Livid.
Please give me 100 stories about
The
that.
ball.
About the ball. Can you tell me how what the career journey of the ball
If
was?
you polled people
you
ahead of
know?
time and asked which is the official ball of the NBA, no one would fucking tell you.
They would say basketball.
It'd be 50-50. Yeah. That orange thing.
Basketball?
Whatever. I mean, I was just like, really? That story broke
Mhm.
over like every fucking platform and different writings about it. And then you get the next alert is the Athletic is cutting WNBA, halting WNBA.
I can't.
So, fine. If you want to halt the WNBA, I'm sure those women writers or those writers of the WNBA can cover other sports. It just it seems targeted that it would be the
it is.
WNBA.
Yep.
So,
And
okay.
they're still keeping their NASCAR, their fucking
Ugh, gross.
I know, so gross. You know what? When someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them.
Oh,
Mhm.
And if they're halting WNBA, well, then I'm halting my subscription.
bye.
Ooh. Hashtag
Money,
Boycott the
money.
Athletic.
Money talks.
Boycott the Athletic.
Hashtag. Hashtag.
Hashtag.
Let's see. Moving on to some quick NBA stuff. The Lakers are set to open up their facility on Saturday, which is today because recorded on Saturday.
Oof.
I will see what happens. LeBron has spoken.
Yeah, whatever.
He's like, get in
It's
on
so
the court.
stupid. The freaking finals would have already started by now. Why are we even talking about this?
Why even?
They're so desperado.
It's over.
They're so desperado.
Take this time and focus on next season and how you can make it a better experience for the fans.
He can't. He's so focused on that 6th ring because, Jordan's just flaunting it in his face every week.
Sorry, man.
I don't even know. Like, seriously, like, what kind of shape? If you hear that certain people haven't touched a basketball since the shutdown.
Exactly.
I mean, and like, I guess I'm going to have to agree with Shaq. Like, anyone that wins this season gets an asterisk by their name.
Asterisk.
Yeah.
Right?
Showing your asterisk.
You better wash that asterisk. Okay?
Wash your hand strick and your asterisk.
Yeah, they're crazy. I know we're skipping over one of the things, but just quickly because we're talking about this, Adam Silver is targeting. Okay, first off, he's targeting 2 to 3 week timeline just to make the decision. So
LA already said July. Don't even anticipate nothing till July.
So yeah, all of this is just so dumb. I'm so over it. I hate it so much. Can we just have some common sense and just say, hey, let's just let everybody get healthy and back to normal and focus on next season. But no, it's like, you know what? We're already supposed to be in the finals. Let's come up with some bullshit way, like tiny mini March Madness that I may or may not decide in 2 or 3 weeks from now that we're going to do. And then after that, it's going to take another month to figure out how we're actually going to do it. Like, just call it.
I mean, at that point, it's August.
It's so dumb.
Yeah. Just play. You know what? Just stop.
Stop.
I agree with you. Stop.
Time out.
They need time out. NBA needs time out.
It's no better than all these freaking Carols that are standing outside Baskin Robbins.
You can call them Karens.
I want to call them Karens.
I don't mind. I'm the antithesis.
You're not wrong.
It's no better than that.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Come on.
You're not wrong.
I think the name Karen is synonymous with narc because I'm a big ass narc. I'm a snitchy bitch.
Yourself for being
I am.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I'm not racist, so that's
that's the difference.
And I check my bias sometimes. I'm like, ooh, no, girl, don't think that way. What is wrong with you?
You can wait to get a haircut.
Yeah, exactly. Well, your hair looks on point today. So.
Yeah,
they're not sponsoring us, but Dyson, the Airwave, the whatever.
Okay.
That thing is.
Wait, you vacuumed
wow. Pretty much, it's all wind powered, and it's like.
What?
Okay, gotta look into that. Yeah. Vacuuming your hair, I like it.
It's like a Flowbee. It's today's Flowbee.
That needs to come back.
It has. People have been trying to buy it, and they sold out online.
Oh my god, I can't. We'll have to. That's another
segment.
podcast. Another segment. I want to touch also on the conference call.
I love your notes. I'm dying to say them.
The 9 NBA superstars included in the conference call regarding resuming the NBA season is Chris Paul, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, and Steph Curry. No James Harden. Was he snubbed? That was a headline.
Was he snubbed?
That was a headline.
Probably like, I don't want to talk about this shit.
Yeah, what if James Harden is like, no, we shouldn't come back. That's why I don't want in this conference call.
Yeah, I don't want to waste. We know
then
how
I'm
many
a James
times.
Harden fan.
You know how many times we waste time in meetings where we're like, do I really need to be on this call? That's probably what he said.
Right. And Kawhi was like, hello?
Yeah.
And he put himself
goodbye.
on mute the whole time. And he's like, bye.
Yeah. Probably. How many times did you hear, can you put yourself on mute? Yeah. If you're not talking, can you put yourself on mute?
Yeah, Katie, could you stop flushing the toilet?
Whoever's in the bathroom, can you just put yourself on mute? Put yourself on mute. I can only imagine all those people trying to get onto the conference, and they need like 10 people to help them get on a conference call because, everybody has people. It's like, can you put yourself on mute? I'm just like, okay, cool. Great. I can't wait for the 10-part documentary series on the conference call.
Right.
It'll be aired on the boardroom.
Like, what do you say? Hey, we all want to come back. Let's just make sure it's safe. All right, bye. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Nothing.
I want the transcripts.
Well, I hope the players are talking about the smaller people who have to work these games and the risk that they're at. The fact that we're wasting tests and there's bigger issues to be concerned about. And one of the biggest targeted groups from COVID or the ones suffering is the Black community. So I hope they said that. And that was the conference call.
No. They said, when can I get my ring? When can I play for my ring?
I want my bag and I want my ring.
We're doing it for the fans. Yeah, no.
They need entertainment. Get over it. We're acting like we're just so bored. We have every streaming device available. Yes. We have video games. We've got books. We've got internet. We've got
those players have space.
Like, give me a break. We're not freaking suffering over here. We're just being asked to relax.
We saw Conley's fucking indoor fucking situation. They've got space. They've got money to create space. They can fucking figure it out, okay?
And you know what? Like, I love sports. I obviously love it enough that I went and got a master's in it and decided to work in it for a living. So I love sports. But I gotta admit, it has been a very nice break to not have it jammed down my throat and my eyeballs for the last couple months. Because working in sports, you feel like you have to be on top of everything.
Everything.
You are on top of everything. Like, you can't, like, it's been really nice to just sit down and be like, I'm going to watch the Food Network and not worry about if there's a basketball game on. You know what I mean?
You and your guy, you know, just chilling for the afternoon, for sure.
Yeah. It's been nice to just like, all right, what else can I do with my time?
Yeah.
That isn't sports.
And like you said, Kendall, I think too, back in the day when it was all just broadcast, because it was limited, they just focused on the game. Now you got to focus on everything. What did LeBron say? Like, what did he try to trademark? What kind of strip club did Kawhi go to? You know, like it's.
Well, and I think we'll be more appreciative of it when it comes back, like normal. You know, like, let's everybody just sit this out and focus on how you can make next season better for your fans' experience, for your players' experience, for everything. And then by that time, we'll just all have an appreciation that we haven't had sports for so long that we're just going to be craving it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need you to put horse on TV.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
We don't need you to play some weird ass janky playoff tournament.
I don't need it.
Like, let's just. It's been nice to kind of step back, and I know that I'm definitely in the minority.
Well, I mean, I think it just to your point, I think it's just about realigning the perspective of what sports means. I mean, I think with our conversation with Keia, what she was saying was they are looking at the fan. Well, they always have been. Their organization has always been very fan focused.
Right.
But now it's like, okay, how are we continuing to help the fans in the place where we play, where we call home? How are we helping the people in the community? And subsequently our fans, like, what are we doing to engage them? And I think that's something that hasn't happened in a while. I remember going to a baseball game in Wrigley Field where they didn't have the Jumbotron yet.
Oh,
right. Dang. So it was just the announcer in the field. And what a joy not to have after every at bat being yelled at from a Jumbotron about a hot dog or a Subway car
or a sponsor
or a Subway sandwich.
The second baseman loves chili dogs.
Yeah, I know. It was really nice. You just sat there and you could watch the game and you were just like, okay, this is time that I'm spending. And it would be kind of nice. You know, maybe that's something we think about how we do sports. Like maybe it's, a little more I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but
it'll be interesting to see how many of these leagues and teams take what they've learned in quarantine, and if they actually take it and utilize it once we're all back to normal.
Yeah.
No. Not that I don't support that. Yeah, right. I think we're giving them too much benefit of the doubt.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, it's going to be a situation where they're going to have, need to make up the money. They're going to need to make up for the losses, and that could be detrimental to actually learning anything about sports, as you see.
Yeah, maybe the top athletes just need to get a pay cut.
Well, that'll
or
never
the
happen.
owners. Let's think about the owners first, because
I know, seriously, it goes all the way up to the owners. Like, they're the ones that are getting all that cheddar. The players make a fraction. They're like a piece of a sliver of a big pie, which comes from the owners.
And it's crazy that they make a fraction of what the owners make.
Yeah.
Ooh. It's just kind of gross how much all of them make.
Yeah. But you know what? Let's bring in those people to wipe down all of the equipment and the chairs and the toilets and the, laundry and the drinks and all the ball boys or whatever.
Yeah.
Just so that we can have entertainment.
Yeah. Let them earn their $10 per hour so that we can earn our millions for having a game.
Yep.
Fuck you.
There's a lot of different socioeconomic discussions just within what's happening. So we'll see how this plays out. I know NBA has definitely been one that's been more at the forefront of social issues. So I think Adam Silver is trying to weigh that out. I'm presuming that from what I'm seeing, the fact that he's like, you know what, I still need time.
Yeah.
I need to think this through. So,
and you said, I think it's every exec is talking about what do we do now? How do we pivot? That's fine. But the fact that the media wants to keep making it the same story, I'm like, there's nothing new. Why is this again another headline? Like, let them have their fucking discussions and then go talk about it when it's made. Like, I don't want speculation. Right. That's not your job. You're supposed to be a journalist. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like if you put any of those buzzwords in your article, coronavirus, pandemic, COVID, any of that, you're going to get more reach than if you were just like, I'm surprised it didn't say it, the Wilson ball tested negative for COVID. Therefore, it is now the NBA basketball league.
What about the day in the life of LeBron and Corona? What about the day in the life of an athlete in Corona? Like, I don't know. That might not be great fucking shit, but it's better than hearing the same headline about speculation about opening a season.
There's just not a lot of creativity out there.
True.
No. People are what's the easy way that I can do something and just get it out there, rather than putting some thought and creativity and telling the stories of athletes that you wouldn't normally get to hear about.
Yeah.
Like you said,
which I guess is where we come in.
I know. Hopefully we can keep doing it. We got a great lineup too for the rest of the month. So I hope you stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Well, that's all I had, ladies. I figured those were some good topics just to cover. So yeah, I think we're ready to wrap. You guys ready?
This was a great fucking show. Holy shit. I still feel goosebumps. I feel motivated. I'm just like, oh yeah, number 15, baby.
Yes. This was fantastic.
It was great.
It was a great show. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Hoops Talk. Thank you to Keia Clarke, the COO of the New York Liberty. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the show and talking about your career journey and about things popping off in the organization. Make sure, you guys subscribe, listen, rate. We are on all of the platforms. YouTube channel, baby.
Woo, subscribe there. Yes.
I mean, I'm using all my editing chops to get that content out.
Yeah.
I'm going to put some Ken Burns effect
in
there.
Oh, shit. Here we go. Zoom in. Zoom
out. Panning. We'll see. I'm getting better.
Oh, man.
Make sure you follow us and DM us on our social handles. Twitter and Instagram, we're at The Hoops Talking. And yeah, you know what? Stay safe. Wash your hands.
And your asses.
Wash your ass. And Karen, how do we want to keep it? We want to keep it sweaty and petty. We out.